I know it's disappointing we didn't win the league. I know. Trust me. I was holding out for some magic from West Ham. And in fairness, we got it from Kudus. And it looked like we'd end the game with a little bit of hope. But it wasn't to be. City were too good. City were too consistent. They were too good. And I had a lot of time to reflect and think on what I wanted this video today to be. The day after we lose the title, what do I want to talk about? And while I was feeling really down in the sort of immediate hours after full time, I've sort of woken up today feeling like, okay, we went on an amazing run, and it feels like it should have won us the title. But when you reflect on it a little bit more, and I've got some data I want to bring to you here in this video, I don't think it's a time to start feeling sorry for ourselves. I think it's a time to do what Mikel Arteta said, which is to not be satisfied and to want to push on. Be proud of the team's efforts. They had a go and be encouraged by how far this team is going. We're going to talk about that in this video too, because I think we've had a little glimpse into what the future of Arsenal could look like, especially next season. But there are things we can learn from this season, and there's a lot to be excited about. I want to try package that all in one video, even look at the tactical setups that we deployed throughout the campaign, because I think it gives us clues for next season. So, breaking that all down, I think the first thing we want to do is look at how we did in every competition this season. Because everyone's talking about the Premier League. Premier League. I think how we perform across all competitions has been brushed aside a little bit too easily. I'm going to show you here. These are our results across the 4 competitions. Finishing second in the Premier League, 89 points, most wins ever in a Premier League campaign. Don't get me wrong, that is all brilliant. Like, obviously very happy with the encouragement. Shame we didn't get first place. I wanted it. It hurts. But there's a lot of positives that we can take from that. Most clean sheets, everything. Quarterfinals of the Champions League is about what I would expect, considering it was our first time back and we lost to Bayern Munich and there were very good clubs in the quarters. Okay, it can happen. But what we did in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup remains, even though we're still months and months past these games happening, it remains really disappointing to, go out essentially at the first stage of the FA Cup for us, because we enter at round 3 and only getting past one round of the Carabao Cup before getting knocked out by West Ham. Home to Liverpool and away to West Ham, I'm not saying they don't provide some kind of hurdle for Arsenal in a cup competition which you can play teams across lower divisions, but we should, we would expect to get past those particular ties, and it's a shame we didn't, and we have been underperforming in the cups, and I don't think that should be really brushed aside. But we forget it, we forget and forgive, we move on, and we focus on the Premier League. And my word, was our Premier League form unbelievable. The minute we went out the cups, this Premier League form was incredible. As you can see it here, in 2024, Arsenal's 18 games yielded 16 wins, a draw and a defeat. The best form of any club in the Premier League in 2024, a point better than Man City. We did lose a game where they didn't, but we also outscored more goals and conceded less. But I want to ask why we look on 2024 as a league table. Why do we do that? Is it because, the team went to Dubai, and then when they came back, they hadn't played a Premier League game in early January, so we went on this great run? Do we see Dubai and that trip as like the big turning point for this Arsenal group? Is it because it's a calendar year? Just is nice to say, right? Oh, in 2024, we were this and we've been that. I think we do it mainly because of the calendar year thing, and because that's when our kind of winning run started. But the month before that, December, was really, really crucial. Something happened in a very particular week that I think changed the season massively. And it wasn't just a week in the season, I'm talking a particular place. And that place is Villa Park. Because on the 6th of December, Aston Villa beat Man City. They didn't just beat Man City, they utterly outclassed them. They were by far the better team, more shots, just totally controlled City, who couldn't get near their goal. And then they followed that up with a win against Arsenal on the 9th of December. Now, if we go to that 6th of December, I remember that, and I remember that result, and I thought, Arsenal can do something. City don't look quite at it. We end up losing, but if I just take you to the Premier League table since that City defeat at Villa Park, City have accumulated 61 points, by far and away the best points tally of any one of their title rivals, with Arsenal and Liverpool, weirdly Chelsea in fourth, but way more than Arsenal and Liverpool since that particular defeat. They've gone unbeaten, drawing only 4 of their 23 games, winning 19. They've got they scored the most goals, but they don't concede 2 more than Arsenal. But as you can see, they accumulated 8 more points than the Gunners since that day. Arsenal, on the other hand, Drew 2 games, yes, but lost 4. So since they lost at Villa Park, we lost to Villa twice at Villa Park and at the Emirates. We then lost to Fulham away and we lost to West Ham at home. And those are 4 games I expect to win every single one. Maybe a draw at Villa Park, but you win the rest. Maybe one draw in terms of a slip-up, but you win the rest. But to lose all 4, it was pretty catastrophic. And so what that meant is that actually we found ourselves, if we just go to 20 games into the season, Arsenal had only won 12 out of 20, drawing 4 and losing 4. That was our run at just over the halfway stage. And that is not good enough. Like, dropping points in 8 games out of 20, that's almost half. 40%. A 60% win rate meant that the only way we were going to actually stay in this title race, when you look at it, we're behind Villa, we're 3 points behind City, we're 5 points behind Liverpool. At that point in the season, Arsenal had to put together an incredible run just to stay relevant in the title race, just to stay competitive and keeping City honest. So I think we look at that run as something incredible that should have won us the league. And I think in a lot of ways it would and should and could in other years or other leagues or whatever. But the problem is we were playing catch up. And I don't want that to be forgotten. The first half of the season, if we're being really honest, was actually pretty disappointing in terms of the football we were playing and the results we were picking up and the manner of some of the drop points, like Fulham at home, West Ham at home, the North London derby when we led twice and things like that. So don't get me wrong, second half of the campaign, unbelievable. 2024, brilliant. But the first half, we were really quite off it, and I think we forget that a little bit because of how well we've ended the season. Now, throughout that campaign, I think the reason we were off it, but it got better, is because we tried a few different things tactically. And in fairness to Mikel Arteta, he had some hurdles to overcome that he couldn't have foreseen. So let's start with looking at the tactical pad and the 4-3-3 that started the season, and just immediately, it just looks like such a different team. You know, Martinelli wasn't starting at the end of the season. Kai Havertz moved to striker. Eddie Nketiah wasn't playing any minutes at the end of the season. Partey's a right back. Timber's a left back. And Gabriel's not even in the team. Like, it's very, very different. I've got Raya there. That's actually a mistake. It was Ramsdale who started the season. So, if we just move this along, what I think we saw very early on in that first game, before Timber got injured, is that Arsenal, I think, wanted to test something like this. A 3-4-3 diamond. They wanted to get Havertz behind Eddie Nketiah. You then got the midfield 3 looking the way you want. Now, there's a few thoughts of, immediately here, Timber inverting from right back to make a lone pivot just feels like a lot of work to. Doesn't feel like the most structurally best way to approach it all, but Arteta didn't really get to experiment with this because we lost Timber and Partey, who come out of the team because of injuries that essentially kept them out all season. Gabriel makes his way back, and Arsenal started to revert to something that looked a lot more familiar, which was a 3-2-4-1 shape, with Zinchenko inverting from left back and Rice playing as the 6. Havertz as the left 8 didn't work for me, but his form got a lot better as the season went on. Then we saw a little bit more of this, which was, yes, Zinchenko at times, sometimes Kivior. We'll talk about the build-up shape in a sec, but Trossard leading the line with Havertz in the midfield 3, moving much more into a shadow striker role so Ødegaard could drop deep and get involved in build-up. Then the team evolved, and this for me was the best version of Arsenal we saw all season. The 4-4-2 build-up shape with the box midfield formed by Rice, Havertz, Ødegaard and Jorginho. Fullbacks just holding their shape. We had a really good set shape out of possession. In possession, fluidity just came from the talent of the players. Sometimes White was inverting, sometimes Ødegaard would drop deep, sometimes he'd be the highest player. Saka and Martinelli were having their fun as well. And Jorginho was in brilliant form. I'm really happy he signed a contract extension because I just think he's a valuable squad player who absolutely adds a lot to the team. So then we move on to how we ended the season. And if we just move, we've got Tomiyasu at centre-back there. We've got Zinchenko and Timber managed to get some minutes, which we didn't expect, with Smith Rowe coming into the team. Now, I think this is a little clue as to how Arteta would have used Timber a lot of this season, because when you look at that 11, it was Timber inverting alongside Zinchenko. It was a double invert with almost a 2-3 build-up, so we could get that front 5. And I wonder if we'd had Timber for most of this season, whether he would have played more in this role. Now, if I just take you here, let's have a look at Timber's passing. You can see that he was playing a lot of passes. Let's highlight them in yellow. In these typically inverted spaces, but also getting quite high up the pitch at times. We saw at one point he made a few underlapping runs that show it in that green's not going to work, showing red. He made a few underlapping runs to try and provide something else to cut through the team. And I think Timber would have offered that really well this season, but unfortunately we didn't have it for for all the campaign. He played literally the first hour and the last half hour. He literally got 190 minutes of football across the whole Premier League season. So what's next? I mean, I think that was a little eye as to what we want to do tactically next season. I think Mikel Arteta ended the game in that shape for a particular reason, which is because that's what Jurriën Timber can offer us. Zinchenko as well came on, and Smith Rowe was playing some minutes. So interesting to see what's going to happen with Zinni and Smith Rowe throughout the summer. But the summer's big. The summer is big for Arsenal. And looking to the future, there is a lot of anticipation for what is next for Arsenal, because we've heard some great quotes. Josh Kroenke, speaking before the game, I think it's important this came out before, said that while we're undoubtedly proud of the progress we've made, I want to be clear that no one at the club will stand still. However things finish today, we're all working behind the scenes to move us forward again. There's so much that we want to achieve. Fabrizio Romano then quoted Mikel Arteta saying that all the credit has to go to the players and the staff. They're unbelievable, saying that, you know, the fans believe is important, but he also said, don't be satisfied. We want much more than that, and we are going to get it. And I agree with him. I think we are going to get it. I think those days will come. We have to be a little bit more patient, but I do think the silverware, the trophies, the Premier League in particular will come for Arsenal if we keep going on this journey. We've only improved every season in terms of points tally, in terms of position, from 8th to 5th to 2nd, but then 2nd with more points, closer to the title, and pushing City all the way. It wasn't to be, but this summer we can continue to do good work that I think will get us there. Now, we talked in my last video about the links to Sesko, Neves, Hato, and how they don't quite feel like the right profile for me. Maybe one of them, but all three of them with the ages they are, I'm not 100% sure. Go have a little look at that video if you want to get my breakdown on the latest transfer rumours. But some of the names that were thrown around, the likes of Alexander Isak, Mohamed Kudus have been mentioned. Florian Wirtz, I don't know if there's a link, but people are suggesting him would be brilliant, give him a rise. These are players that I think feel like a good age, real quality that could lift us immediately. And then with some coaching from Arteta, can he turn them into world-class stars? Because we're going to need world-class players across the board to be able to compete with City, because that's what they've got. Even when they're not at it, their world-class players can get them through. And I think that is something that Mikel Arteta is going to have a little look at as well this summer, is being really ruthless. Do we have the quality across the board to not just be competitive in the Premier League again and win it, but be competitive on all four fronts and be able to rotate and not worry about rotating? That's what this summer is about for me. Adding quality, a little bit of depth, and being ready to compete on all fronts. It's not an easy task, don't get me wrong, but unfortunately, like, we're trying to push City all the way, and that's just what we're going to have to try and do. Now, in terms of all the transfer stuff, and I just want to talk about this channel a little bit as well, which I don't normally do, but I just want to get a little message out there to you. I will be covering transfer stuff on this channel, and we will be adding more elements like live shows, interacting with you all that watch a lot more. I'm really excited for what's to come. I'll be doing that alongside everything I do at AFTV as well. There'll be a whole breakdown on the tactics and everything that Arsenal have done throughout the season with Graham. That will come out on the channel next week, so have a little look out for that. But I'm really excited for what's to come here as well. I want to thank all of you for just supporting the content. I really appreciate it. We've grown massively in 2024, and that's all of you supporting it, so thank you so much. We have more ideas, we have more we want to do, and I just want to give a shout out as well to Max, who is my editor, producer. He is brilliant, and all the graphics, all the production quality that I think we like to pride ourselves on, like we want to do things the best way we can. He is brilliant. Like, he makes that all happen, and he brings my rambling and my waffling to life, and he does a brilliant job. And just show some love for Max in the comments, because honestly he works really hard, and he just brings this all to life. And very grateful to him, very grateful to all of you in the comments who, you know, in the comments, or even if you're not commenting, if you're just watching it, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. I believe this Arsenal team have big things to come, and we'll be covering it all on this channel in more detail than ever before. We'll be collaborating with others. We'll be covering news, you know, in real time as well on this channel. And we will be there. We will be here when Arsenal do get it over the line and do get it done, and we will all celebrate and enjoy it together. So thank you all for joining this community. Hope you are enjoying the content, appreciating the content. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not taking any summer break or anything. The content will keep coming 3 times a week, but more as well will drop throughout the summer. There's more to come. So big thanks to all of you. Catch you in a bit. And I just want to say a really big thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, actually hit the links right here to watch more content like this, including my Football First podcast, which drops every Monday to Friday at 6 AM. And I know it's annoying, I am really sorry to have to ask, but if you want to show support to the channel, hitting the like and subscribe buttons help promote the content much more than you could possibly know. Thanks again.